Everyone has seen Michael Jackson on stage. The moonwalk, the lean, the explosions, the crowd losing their minds. That's the version people remember. But honestly, that wasn't where the real story was happening. The real Michael showed up in rehearsal, in quiet studios, in empty arenas, long before the lights turned on. That's where he would repeat the same move over and over until it felt effortless. Dancers have said rehearsing with him was exhausting. Musicians said he could catch mistakes nobody else even heard. And when you watch those rehearsal clips closely, you start to understand something deeper. The magic on stage wasn't magic at all. It was obsession. It was control. It was discipline. He wasn't just talented, he trained himself to be different. And if you really want to understand what that looked like, let's start in 1996. Number 7. History World Tour Rehearsals. By the time the History Tour rehearsals started in 1996, Michael wasn't just a pop star anymore. He was operating on a completely different level. And the rehearsal room? It felt more like boot camp than dance practice. Dancers who worked with him have said he would stop everything over the smallest detail. If a hand came in a little late, if a shoulder didn't hit sharply enough, or if a step didn't land exactly on the beat, he noticed. He didn't scream or lose control. He would just pause the music, look at everyone, rewind it, and quietly say, "Let's do it again."
He comes up basically with ideas and concepts, and he knows what he wants. And it's just amazing to watch him work that way, because it's like he calls it brainstorming, and it's absolutely amazing to see him brainstorm.
The formations were incredibly tight, almost military in the way everyone moved together. Every arm had to hit at the same angle, every turn had to finish clean. And what really stands out is that this wasn't even opening night. This was just rehearsal. This wasn't in front of 50,000 people. It was rehearsal, empty space, no applause, just him treating it like the show was already live. When you watch the footage, you can see it in the way he carries himself. He's not casually running through moves, he's leading. And that kind of discipline, that kind of pressure, is where the legend really starts to separate from the person. But that level of control wasn't new. Years earlier, he was already turning rehearsal rooms into something else entirely. Number 6. Bad World Tour Rehearsals. Now let's go back to the late 80s. This is the period where Michael stopped feeling like just another superstar and started setting the standard. The rehearsals for that tour weren't quick run-throughs. They went on for months, with full days spent in studios and on stage working through every section of the show. Choreographer Vincent Patterson has talked about how detailed everything had to be. Every shoulder movement, every spin, even the space between steps had to feel intentional. What makes this era different is that Michael wasn't simply learning choreography. He was refining it and shaping it until it felt completely his. Smooth Criminal didn't turn iconic overnight. It was built slowly inside rehearsal rooms, piece by piece. There's even that story about him inviting more than 400 school kids to watch a full dress rehearsal. Think about that. Most artists would hide their unfinished work. Michael performed like it was already the first show of the tour. That tells you how he thought. He didn't separate rehearsal from performance. To him, they were the same level of seriousness. The pressure never dropped. There's a moment in the rehearsal footage where you realize how serious he is about it. He doesn't move on until the step looks clean and controlled. This wasn't about having fun in the studio. It was about control. And if you think the sharp suits and clean spins from the bad era were intense, just wait until he turned himself into something darker. Number 5. Thriller music video rehearsals. This is where you can really see the change. Before Thriller, music videos weren't treated like full productions. Artists would show up, learn a few moves, film their parts, and leave. That wasn't Michael. When he teamed up with choreographer Michael Peters to create the zombie routine, he approached it like a serious stage performance. They rehearsed again and again until the movements felt effortless. And that famous zombie shuffle, it wasn't something they just threw together. The shoulder drops, the stiff neck turns, the dragging feet that suddenly snap back into rhythm, every detail was practiced. The challenge was bigger than people think. Michael was known for being smooth and precise. Now he had to move like the living dead without losing timing. That takes serious control. If you watch the rehearsal clips closely, you'll notice something subtle. Even when he looks loose and eerie, his body is still grounded. His core is steady. His timing never slips. That's the difference between someone copying a style and someone mastering it. After Thriller, dance and music videos changed forever. It raised the standard, but as groundbreaking as that was, he wasn't finished mixing horror with choreography. Number 4. Ghost short film rehearsals. By the time Ghost came out in 1996, Michael wasn't just making music videos anymore. He was building full horror musicals. The short film was directed by Stan Winston, the same creative mind behind the effects in Jurassic Park, so the visual side was already on another level. But when it came to movement, Michael worked closely with Travis Payne and Lavelle Smith Jr., and that's where the real intensity was.
He's not easily satisfied. He's very demanding in that he doesn't allow us to settle.
This wasn't casual choreography. It felt theatrical, almost Broadway level in commitment. The dance battle between Michael and the mayor character wasn't just entertaining, it was physically demanding. Fast footwork, sharp chest hits, sudden freezes that had to land perfectly on beat. The body control needed for those almost skeletal isolations was serious. And here's something people overlook. During filming, he had to move in heavy makeup and prosthetics, which makes everything harder. But all of that control was developed long before the cameras rolled, in rehearsal rooms. Lavelle Smith Jr. has mentioned how Michael would focus on even the smallest details, adjusting a hand angle or refining a pause until it felt right. Not just the big spins, the small things. Ghost runs close to 40 minutes, acting, dancing, storytelling, all blended together. That kind of stamina doesn't happen by accident. And when you watch those rehearsal clips, you can see he wasn't holding back. He was pushing, almost like he wanted to prove he could still surprise people. But bending horror into choreography was one thing. Bending physics? That was another level. Number 3, dangerous world tour rehearsals. Now we move into the dangerous era, early 90s. And this is where rehearsals started to feel intense in a different way. The scale of this tour was huge. Stadiums packed with tens of thousands of people. Pyro, massive stage builds. Everything had to land perfectly. But long before the explosions and crowd noise, there were rehearsal days where nothing was allowed to look casual. Travis Payne and Lavelle Smith Jr. were heavily involved again. And you can see how the choreography evolved. The isolations are tighter. The spins are faster. The pauses feel heavier, more deliberate. He wasn't just dancing to the beat anymore. He was controlling it.
Oh, and by the way, the girl who walks across the street, the stage, what's her name?
Yuko.
Yuko. Yuko, when you come out for your entrance, that moment is yours. If you stop right there, most people won't see it. Just work the stage. The whole stage is yours at that point. Just work this whole stage, okay? The part. It's best you want to stop quick, and then if it's a quick, make it a quickie, and then.
The dangerous rehearsals weren't only about choreography either. They were about full show control, lighting cues, pyro timing, band tempo. If something felt off, he stopped it, reset it, ran it again. There's footage where he barely raises his voice, but the whole room responds immediately.
All of these breaks have to really be clean, you guys, as far as movement. Don't go into them, easily. You have to really, I swear to you, I'm looking at it. Really effective. Bum, bum. Can we just take it from the first, I'm working. And by the way, on any of these walks, it's a better picture if you're walking here. Bump, 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 bump. Like, don't go here or back. Because the lines are better on the body if you go this way. And plus, it looks great seeing a bunch of people go like that. Know what I mean? Please. Okay. Where do we start from? Yeah, David.
Michael?
Yeah.
While you're on this, can I just suggest, I know that it's late and you guys have been working really, really hard.
But they're great. They love
looks
this.
Wonderful.
That kind of authority doesn't come from yelling, it comes from respect. And in this era, you can feel something else too. Confidence. He wasn't experimenting anymore. He knew exactly what worked. The movements weren't just clean, they were commanding. But nothing hits harder than watching a man at 50 years old step back into a rehearsal room and still move like that hunger never left. Number 2, This Is It Rehearsals. Fast forward to 2009. Michael is 50 years old. For years, the media had been questioning him, doubting him, saying he was finished. And then the This Is It rehearsal footage starts coming out. No heavy editing, no dramatic camera tricks, just raw studio clips from the Staples Center. And what you see is not what people expected. Yes, he looked thinner. You can't ignore that. His frame looked lighter, almost fragile. But the movement was still there. It was sharp, controlled, and very intentional. Watch how he runs through songs like They Don't Care About Us, Smooth Criminal, and The Way You Make Me Feel. With just a snap of his fingers, the entire band tightens up. He doesn't shout. He doesn't panic. He gives quiet instructions.
Right? It's funkier. I'm not feeling that part enough.
Doesn't run next to him.
It's not there.
Okay, it should be.
It should be.
It's
I know,
coming.
it's all for love.
Dancers who were much younger have said he could still outwork them, and that's something people don't talk about enough. He wasn't just walking through the set list. He was adjusting foot placement, correcting timing, refining lighting cues, paying attention to details most artists would ignore at that stage of their career. There were even reports of him working on a new move, something fresh, as if he still felt the need to innovate. And when you watch that footage now, knowing how everything unfolded shortly after, it hits differently. You don't see someone going through the motions, you see someone still chasing excellence. And that's why the #1 spot can't just be about technique. It has to be about impact. Number 1, 1995 MTV Video Music Awards Rehearsals. Now this one isn't just about dance. This is about power. It's 1995. MTV wasn't dominating the culture the way it once did. The energy felt different, and they needed a moment that people would talk about. When you want that kind of impact, you call Michael Jackson. And when he agreed to do the show, he didn't treat it like a small award appearance. He built a full medley that moved through Billie Jean, Beat It, Dangerous, Black or White, and You Are Not Alone. It felt more like a mini tour production than a guest slot. He treated it like a tour production, not an award show appearance. He rehearsed it with the full band, ran through the choreography again and again, and made sure the lighting and transitions were timed perfectly. There's rare rehearsal footage where you see him working through the medley transitions, fine-tuning the timing before the Billie Jean breakdown, tightening the Dangerous choreography until it hit exactly right. When Slash joined him for Black or White, the dynamic changed. Adding a live guitar performance on a stage that size meant everything had to stay tight.
It would help too, because. Okay. Right. Somebody has to turn it off then. If he leaves the guitar there, will somebody turn it off? They'll remember? Okay. I wish you could trash it.
The Billie Jean section especially had to feel perfect. The timing before he placed the hat on his head, the glide across the stage, even the seconds where he just stood there and let the crowd react. All of that required control. That kind of stillness doesn't happen by accident. It's practiced. When the performance aired, it became one of the most talked about VMA moments ever. Not just because of the moves, but because it felt like control. Like MTV needed him more than he needed MTV. That's why this takes the top spot. Not only because of the choreography or the stamina, but because even at that level, he prepared like a challenger. And when you look back at everything, the history precision, the bad era detail, the thriller discipline, the ghost intensity, the dangerous scale, this is it focus. A pattern becomes clear. On stage, he looked effortless. In rehearsal, he was relentless. And that's the difference between having talent and building it into something legendary. In the end, most people saw the stage, the lights, the moonwalk, the scream, but the real Michael showed up in rehearsal. That's where he repeated moves until they were flawless. That's where he demanded precision. No applause, no cameras, just obsession. That's why he wasn't just talented, he was disciplined. And discipline is what made him different.